All right. Well, I think I'm live and hopefully not peaking or anything like that. We'll see. I can always drag that down. Yeah, we'll just do that and prevent it from being hot. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Wednesday live stream. It's Wednesday, right? I'm so far keeping track. I don't think I've done this on the wrong day yet. So hello to everybody in the chat, everyone who's come in to hang out. I don't really have like a major thing or anything I'm working on. It's been one of those weeks where it's weirdly quiet, I guess. I've gotten a bunch of the stuff I'm supposed to do behind me, like taxes and all of that stuff. And so now I have this day where everything's kind of calm and it's like, oh, okay, what are we going to talk about? So I'm just going to talk about stuff I like. And you should too, or I invite you all to, I should say. Fun fact, side note, I got a different camera today. So, let me show you, well, I didn't get it today, but I've had it for a little while. So this camera here that we show the miniatures, or I show the miniatures on, I have changed out. So hopefully it can get a little bit of a better image for you guys. So I was just going to experiment here with one of my Twilight sister ladies. It wants to cooperate a lot less when I'm actually streaming. I tested this a whole bunch and it was very cooperative, and now it's just being a jerk. Come on. Huh. It's interesting. But one of the things that was neat about it, and I thought would work really cool, is there's actually a ring light built into it. So if I touch the center, actually illuminates the frame a bit. Now it's a blue light, so you know it's not really going to give you a great color fidelity, but it can help blast out some of those shadows. I wonder if this is any better. I swear I test this stuff before showing you guys, and then it decides to not work off camera. So that's the nature of it, I guess. Oh, there you go. Haha, nice crisp image. So I think that's actually a better image, which is what I was hoping to get for you all. So, ta-da! That's what I'm working with today. Let's see. Who all's in the chat so I can say hi? Mac Attack, welcome. Shale, good to see you. Paul, thank you, as always. He got me the game Snakey Bus this weekend, which is a Steam game, which is, I guess, the game Snake, except in a 3D environment, and you're driving around a bus, and every time you crash, you apparently kill a bunch of people. Yeah, it was very strange. Let's see. Right. Todd, good to see you. John, welcome. David, good to see you as well, or Dave. Adeptus Ridiculous, started without you. Hey man, I set the schedule, and I think I was mostly sort of on time, so, you know, we're good. We're good. Alright, but yeah, honestly, I want to know what you guys are working on, and I really just wanted to chat about just things we like, things that help keep us grounded. And, you know, for me, since I was like, I kind of want to finish up, like, the Twilight Sisters, or finish working on her, I thought, man, like, I love the Grymkin. They're so fun. They're such a fun, strange, weird faction that I find joy in, like, painting and messing around with. So I wanted to I guess cue you all and see what you think. What are some of your favorite models, factions, be it 40k, or obviously, you know, War Machine, or Infinity, or Shadespire, or Warhammer Underworlds, whatever you call it. So, kitties, no, I kicked her out. She can't be in here today to bug me. Austin, I just had a job interview where I tested out all my equipment, and then it all went to bits right in the middle of the interview. Yep. But you can turn that into a really good interview if you're able to, like, manage it. But yes, I know that feeling deeply. Oh yeah, Adeptus has been very busy on the Facebook. He's posted some pretty cool stuff. You guys can check it out. It's a little easier if you do it on response comments, just so people can see them a little easier. But yeah, that's cool too. So if I had something for you to text out for painting, would that be within the realm for me to test out for painting? Maybe. Send me a PM after and we can chat about it. Let's see if this catches any of this imagery or if it just wants to focus on the background images. Oh, that's so annoying. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Yes, I do. I totally agree. I've been not great on Facebook. Honestly, the last few weeks I've been very disengaged from social media. Everybody wished me like happy birthday and I need to respond to that because like just being on social media feels like such a negative place lately that, you know, I can just go throughout my day-to-day life and to have negative experiences. Like, why would I do that on purpose by going to like Facebook or Twitter? So I've kind of been unplugged. That said, I know that you have positive things there, so I will endeavor to go check it out for sure. Especially since you obviously have put in the effort. And gosh, you make all kinds of stuff. My goodness. I do not know how you have the energy that you do, Adeptus. Right then. So, yeah, I don't know. Still waiting, I guess I was looking online for release of the Grymkin Slaughterhouse, and I haven't found anything yet, so I'm hoping by the time it is out, I'll be able to actually get in games with other humans. That would be even cooler. Signar for life. The Signar's fine. Well, it finally happened, Dave. I told you about the Russian version of the Hobbit TV movie. Well, the Russian TV production of The Lord of the Rings from 1991 is up on YouTube recently. Is this a good thing, Dave, or is it sort of like a horrifying thing that you can't turn away from? Hey, Christian, how you doing? Thank you, Adeptus. Let's see, Paul, my favorite models currently are the Night Lord Terminators, the new Hellraiser-ish ones. I also want to get around to painting Fabius Bile. Now, when you're talking about the Night Lord Terminators, are those that really expensive box set for like 3 dudes or whatever? Is it 3 or 5? It was outrageously priced. I mean, I guess not. People buy it, so it is what it is, but it always is fascinating to watch, I guess. But they are beautiful models. Definitely wouldn't take that away from GW. Mandragora, I am happy. A shipment of 2nd edition books arrived for me, including Legion, which I devoured, and a Cater hardcover, which I'm sure you can appreciate. Makes me sad Wormhorse is dying. I mean, it's got a strong IP, and it's not dead yet, so never say never. I think that the IK RPG is going to do a lot to revivify it, and then they're going to reinvent the game, and it's going to be vastly better, because they're going to change things. The stick that she's got, yeah. I think that's literally just like a branch she's got right there. Oh my god, that image is so much nicer. So far, I'm very happy with this camera change that I've done. Oh, don't worry, man. I forget birthdays all the time. Like, friends will ask me, like, oh, how old are you? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm at that age, it doesn't matter anymore. Let's see here. That will be silver, metal. A wooden handle, that's fine. snacky snake that I should make purple, actually. Yeah, let's paint some purple. This is for you, Paul. We're gonna jump into some purple. I wanted to kind of throw in here. And that's the other cool thing about Grymkin. Positive things. Paul can appreciate that I'm painting purple. It's a rabbit she's carrying. What are you talking about? No, it's... Oh, yeah. It's just upside down and did. Oh, I see. Thank you. Mac Attack is wise in mentioning. So, maybe. You were doing it before. I know you can work. So, yeah, okay. Upside down coney, which means all kinds of weird gimbling to paint. I'm just gonna put a bunch of weird colors in it. Change things, i.e. get rid of the caster assassination, right? That would be a great start. It's a nice model. Anyone know which game it's from? Oh, this is from... Are you trolling me? I'll just answer. This is from Wormahorde, or Hordes. Privateer Press's Hordes. It's still around. It's still a game, I promise. Did you catch up on Hingehold? Nobody I want to discuss without spoiling more than you. Dude, I haven't. I need to. But I did notice, I think it was a Twitter post, Privateer had kind of retweeted somebody who did a reading of the Hingehold Scrolls. I think it's only part of it, so I want to get in and listen to it, because that's a lot easier for me, because I've got a bunch of things I'm working on all the time, and so being able to listen to it would be awesome. So that's, so no, I know, I need to work on it. Need to get there. I'm so, like, I don't know, I guess I'm still a little salty about where they put it for Infernals. But one thing at a time. But I love caster assassination. That's my bread and butter. I know a lot of people enjoy it, and I've been on the side of arguing for it for a very long time, but it will always keep the game small until that mechanic's moved. Just mark my words. It will never grow as a game as long as that mechanic remains in there. It is such a feels bad, like, thing for new players and for people just playing the game generally to get, you know, especially when it's like a TK move that's come in, or something gets bulldozed out of the way. Like, something that is this very, very ridiculous Rube Goldberg machine. It doesn't feel like a war game when it happens. It just doesn't feel good at all. So, I guess it replaces strategy with gaminess. Which, yeah, different kind of strategy, I agree. But I think overall it's only ever harmed the game. So at this point, I think for the survival of that game, that mechanic would do better to go. In fact, even just making a version of the game. Like, I've wanted to have a literally different tournament level set of rules for that game, where that's just not a mechanic in it. There's, you know, different field allowance limits and stuff like that. Maybe only certain casters are in or something like that. And you literally just play it differently. Like, what a great testing ground that would be. Except COVID hit and now nobody can test anything in tournaments, so we'll see. I guess you can test on that war table, but I don't know, man. I haven't been able to do it. That feeling when you have to do the math to figure out what's an appropriate lie for your age. Oh. No, I've not lied about my age. I've just no real reason to do so. I mean, I guess not yet, anyway. But I've decided I have not. I got myself an early birthday gift the other day. Oh, massive Tiamat mini from Etsy. Oh, wow. That's one of those Final Fantasy monsters. The Aeons that they pull in. That's what they were called in 10, I think. Ay. I need to clean my brushes. Pretty bad. what we'll get through today, I think. Hey, Kahneman, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. Literally just a super casual chill out tonight. I love caster session. Yeah. Did you ever read the IKRPG Requiem current lore part? No, not yet. I've been out of it. In fact, I think I need to respond to Backer Kit. I've been avoiding my computer. I have a lot of updates. That's the stuff I need to get to. So no, I've been terrible about it, and I need to get on it. Links allowed for viewing things like my mini. I think it'll auto block it, but yeah, you can just do the Facebook chat. If you just post it as a like a comment response to like my posting about this tonight's chat, it's the best place, because then like we all know when it's from and what it's about, and everybody can look at it. Miranda, if you cannot kill the caster, you wouldn't call it Kingslayer. Ugh. I do not do Facebook, never have, never will. You are probably a happier person for it, Christian. It's like playing chess-ish. It's like playing chess / American football. Different rules are always nice. Picked up Crick's Brawl Machine Army because 25 points was doable and they seemed fun. Yeah, there you go, Brawl Machine, something like that. Exactly, Mac Attack. Like, on my personal, I probably haven't updated it in a year. I mean, it's not a friendly place to be. Everybody seems so angry all the time, so it's been really hard to even want to engage. So this cauldron's just gonna have a bunch of purple stuff in it coming out. Great. It's lovely Grymkinish stuff. I kind of watered down the paint. It's already pretty watery to begin with, which is fine if it's a little faded looking. Because what is that? Because I'm gonna blackwash it anyway, so it'll fill in the gaps. Well, Miranda, if you're over 30-something, just flip your page numbers. Thanks. Let's see, Warhammer Hordes, like others, like Malifaux, feels like a Rube Goldberg game. Like, you really have to know every hero and every troop's special ability to have a chance. Yeah, and that can be really frustrating, because, you know, somebody who comes in loving the Grymkin army, or loving the Khadoran army, you know, the best one, might not want to have to know every stupid mechanic that Crix has, or Circle has, which is exceptionally difficult to remember. So... let's see, what should I get for dear old Mass B-Day? She lives in Idaho and turns 60 tomorrow. A singing telegram. Oh wait, they're probably not allowed right now. Flowers. Only Instagram and YouTube these days. Yeah, I'm debating getting back on Instagram. I don't know. I hate social media, but I need to be involved in it. Most Rube Goldberg I've seen is Guild Ball. So much pre-measuring and weird tricks to move around. That would explain why Guild Ball, like, swallowed up most of the War Machine, like, tournament audience for a long time. But then they kind of died, right? They kind of killed it off as a thing. I saw an article by LOS that PP is raising prices on models $2 to $5. Doesn't seem like a wise time. Dude, maybe? I mean, if people want to model... the difference of paying like $20 for this set or $25 for this set is unlikely to change somebody's mind. At least that's what I've noticed. I might just do some gray there. And I mean, GW never stopped raising their prices throughout all of this. As far as I can tell, like, the whole COVID thing's just driven people into more hobbies. I say that, like, for the people who got to, or who had to stop working or had more time or whatever. Do you think in Requiem they will allow new countries like Thuria and Umbria? That's possible. I mean, those are all like kind of swallowed up because Thuria, I think, is in Signar, and Umbria would be part of Umbri, which is just swallowed up by Khador. Now there was some changes to the geography, whether or not like Thuria is now going to have a place. I'm not sure. But I could see them really adding a lot more detail of specific locations that you can go, which would be really cool. Because then, you know, you can go to places that, you know, I guess have a lot of Thurian history and are going to be there. You know, the population there might be mostly Thurian or whatever. But I mean, in the Iron Kingdoms, people do move around quite a bit. So, I don't know that you're going to see a whole lot of, you know, Star Trek level like locations to go where everybody has like this one monoculture. It's actually one of like the super strengths of that whole IP. Alright, I'm just tossing some gray on here because I'm covering colors. I've got every weird color going on here. This is awesome. I just do Instagram these days. Really don't post anymore, but it's my main way to message a few people. Fine, Paul. Yes, it's true. A lot of people, negative people out there, almost like you have to weed them out like a lawnmower. Well, it's weird because a lot of my Facebook stuff are like, oh, you know, networking and, you know, these people that you kind of sort of know through convention circuit or YouTube or whatever. So it's like you're friends with them. But it's like I don't really post anything personal on my Facebook anyway, so it really is just, it's a glorified LinkedIn account, I guess. I don't know. Who here was on the trigger and got a reserved copy of Cursed City? Not me. Good on you, man. I don't think it's bad per se, it just seems like a small price hike. Yeah, I mean, it adds up, but it is something that I don't think too many people are going to care about. And I'm sure everyone's expenses have gone up, you know? I mean, international trade's gone weird. Let's see, I got my wife some flowers from Eternal Flora. They last up to a year. Goodness. The thing with Guild Ball is that it wasn't a balanced game. It was like chess, the Grandmasters trounced newbie players and it put off newbie players from staying with the game and ripped Guild Ball. That sounds familiar. People still buying models from Privateer? Well, I should think so. I mean, the only place you can get the Slaughterhouse is going to be from them, I believe. Hi, Jeremy. Instagram is okay, but you don't get the feedback you're looking for. Well, if any of you want to search out the mini, search Glorious Miniatures on Etsy, and the mini is there. It's 326 millimeters tall, 307 millimeters long. All right, let me see if I can do this while I'm on the chat, just to, because you're very excited about this, and I want to share in this excitement. Etsy.com. Glorious Miniatures. Just ignore all the weird stuff I've been looking up on Etsy. It's just been embroidery designs. That very old lady part of me is coming out finally. Let's see, so Glorious Miniatures. And you said it was Tiamat. Oh my goodness gracious, is this huge dragon? Wait a minute. Well, okay, so I see a three-headed, two-headed, four-headed, how many heads are there? A bunch of headed dragons? Yeah. Is this the right one? Here, I'll grab a picture and you can tell me. I'll save that as, being very efficient tonight, obviously. Plus, no, image. Oh yeah, I don't want to do that. Add image. All right, tell me if this is what you got. Is it that one? There's a bunch of heads there. I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe. It's a little hard for me because it's all one color. I'm hoping they flesh out the lore a bit more. I should think so. They have so much there. The Thurian capital could be set in 5 fingers. Oh lord. My D&D group just picked up a warjack. This is gonna be interesting. Yes. Do you have him doing like cool commands to get past the cortex lock? I'm curious if they make Requiem canon for future Warmahordes. That's my hope. I was on the fence just like Indominus and Sudanath. There's still copies of these. Oh, sure enough, yeah. Oh, I see. So Cursed City's another one of those. Eventually I'll buy Cursed Cities. That's the one. Well, it's very cool. So you look like you will be busy for a long time with that miniature. Just like the Demon Prince that Paul has. Or my Baneblade. We all have that miniature, right? Where we're like, when I'm good enough, I'm gonna work on this. And then, you know, I think it's 2 years now I've had my Baneblade. That is one awesome 5-headed dragon. I agree. So, yes, congratulations and happy birthday. Still half price of the WizKids version coming out soon. It's about the same size and $400 USD. Oh my gosh. That's crazy, dude. Hey, Robert, welcome to the chat. What are your thoughts on mini agnostic games? I love them. It's like I can buy and paint whatever I want, and there's a game for that. I think they are cool, but they probably will only ever have a finite audience because miniatures help build a world, and you know, when you look at something like Privateer or especially Games Workshop in the Warhammer universe, that is a world that has a very distinct aesthetic. It's not a miniature agnostic game at all, right? You have these very specific Gothic styled, Mechanicum styled, or in the case of Privateer, like they're very specific, either tribalist or that really cool in-between technology, you know, level of steampunk, but not like tacky steampunk. And so I think if you get really into the lore or the world of a certain game, then generally people will want the miniatures and everything provided from there. And let's be real, us wargamers are consumers by nature. We really just keep wanting more and more stuff. But it ends up being a great idea, and it really kind of comes down to, I guess, how you enjoy your gaming. You know, if you want to be just all in and really entrenched in this lore, and you've got your friends that you play these games with, and they're all into, you know, 40K or War Machine or whatever, versus people who are more like, maybe almost more board gamers, like chill, relax, will play lots of different games, then I think the mini agnostic games end up being really strong there. Have you seen any of the models for Steamforged game called Epic Encounters? Really well done. Are those some of them that you sent me images of, Robert? I want to say you were talking... I know you're talking to me about Ethereum, I think, was the other one. But there's so many companies, guys. It's so hard to keep up with. Hey, Sammy, good to see you, man. Happy belated bunny day to you. Oh, thank you. Did I do anything for Easter? I sewed. The group hasn't tried to give it commands yet. They picked it up and put it on a cart. Ah, they need coal, don't they? I got Epic Encounters 5e Red Dragon instead. Nice. What are you printing that Gargantua and Tiamat on? It's not me. Christian got it. and I assume it came already printed for 200 bucks. Let's see. The group hasn't tried to, oh yeah, very true. My Lord of Skulls has been assembled but unpainted for some time now. It's so intimidating. Frostgrave and now Stargrave are two good examples. Yeah, on the mini agnostic stuff. Yeah, and a lot of people were all about Frostgrave. And you know, Frostgrave had a, I mean in a positive way, but almost more of a generic aesthetic where you could have your D&D and your Reaper minis just work perfectly in it. And it was more RPG based, so that is a little bit different. In fact, it's one of the things I've wondered about where War Machine and 40K really diverge is, you know, 40K has named characters, fine, but then you also have just generic general dude that you could kind of make into your own character or have as your favorite model, and it's a name you give him or her or whatever. Whereas in War Machine, everybody's a very specific named character, which is fine, and you know, there are a lot of really cool and interesting characters. It's just I had hoped that maybe like some of the more like the Journeymen or something might have been more generic, which they did do for Signar a little bit. I thought they'd do more of that, and they didn't. But it does kind of mean that you always enjoyed the world on those terms, I guess, if that makes sense, as opposed to being able to really add too much of your own personality to it. It's better to stave things off if you think it's too overwhelming, unless you've leveled up. Well, you just don't want to jump, at least, I don't know, I don't want to jump into a model until I feel not even totally ready for it, but at least where I know where to start. Because a miniature, I mean, there's nothing perishable here. If she takes a year to get painted, because I won't stop reading chat, it's fine. I just have to blow dust off at worst. So, you know, you could start and, you know, my Bane blade, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get the harsh colors on. I'm going to test my, you know, getting an airbrush and painting a base coat on there. Like, something like that would be probably a good place to start. But I don't have an airbrush yet, so I'll work on that later. 5 heads. Tiamat is the goddess of greed and evil dragons in D&D. She's the sibling of Bahamut and one half the progenitor god of... Oh, where's the rest of it? Oh, no! Progenitor god of the progenitor god. Low. Oh, I see. I'm running the Dragonlance Chronicles, and hopefully by the end of the year we can be in person again. The end of the campaign is a potential encounter with her. Ooh. So there's your time lane, I guess. There's an online web store named Hammer 40K offering 50% off GW products. Looks like a recast shop, but they're not portraying them as such. If you're getting it for that cheap, it's probably a guarantee that it's a recast shop, which means you deal with terrible quality resins that may or may not be fully cured by the time you get back, and probably no refunds. It's not Bunny Day, it's Pastel Halloween. Oh, I like that idea. Well, it's time to head to work and stop being an antagonist. Well, it's still good to see you, Jeremy. You take care, man. Don't work too hard. I'm not the store owner who's a Twitch painter is printing it. Oh, okay, gotcha. I read green. Hey, Thomas, welcome. Let's see. Didn't see the price. Saw pre-supported and thought you were getting an STL file. My bad. Hey, Jaded. Typically, I don't start a miniature unless it is sat on my desk for at least a year. Yeah, I mean, I still have Caterer that isn't finished, but like I go through phases. Like I'll want to paint a bunch of infantry because there's a certain mindless piece to it, because you're like, okay, these all look the same, right? They're all in uniform. And then there's, you know, where you're working on your special character. But there's a lot more decision making that goes into it, because I'm not great at planning my miniature, so I'm like, okay, what is she wearing? What colors does she have? How do I make her not look like a carnival creature? Even though she can kind of look a little bit like a carnival creature. I've already incorporated orange. I'll probably need to put that in somewhere else on here. And so there's almost like all this problem solving you do that I put myself in. IK RPG creation. was a missed opportunity to put your OC on the table for Warm Hordes. There you go. But if Requiem goes really well, which I'm hoping it does, then I could see them incorporating that because, you know, Warm Hordes currently is a living rule set, so it could change. They could have, you know, your own. I would hesitate to maybe have like a full Warcaster, but some sort of solo character, you know. Just Warcasters are so powerful. Ooh. Oh, good news. I almost forgot. My first Warm Horde minis are coming in a few months. Oh, months, Ender? Goodness. Congratulations. An awesome friend from my group got a bunch of MK2 battle groups for us. Ew. Battle groups pretty sweet. There. I'll have to check that out there, Robert. Alright. Where else am I putting? Oh, I've still got my purple here. It's not even dried yet. Haha. But, yeah. Where did we start? We were talking about things we enjoy. And, I don't know. I'm excited for you, Christian. You're working on, like, a really massive model. And I'm sure you'll do great. I need to bust out my Baneblade, but I think I've arbitrarily decided... Dog losing his mind outside. Then I might get an airbrush and might try that. Because if I just do it for base coating, like I understand the mechanics of an airbrush well enough to do something like that. It's just that little tiny detail stuff that I'm not so sure of. And then, you know, sometimes I just get a wild hair and just try a bunch of stuff anyway. I won't be doing that with a Baneblade. That would be madness. Alright, let's see here. Ah, I love all these blighted bronzy colors. Orgoth. No, I don't think the Twilight Sisters would appreciate me using an Orgoth color on them. Oh, there's that green. And is that orange? Yeah. Can go in red highlight, I believe. This one or this one? Oh, this is proper orange here. I decided, well, I think I mentioned it before, having one of those very useful boxes has been great for storing my paints in between painting streams so that it stays organized and doesn't crowd me out. Of my very tiny computer desk. Let's see, I got 3 mini, got to do their big box of IGs. Like, need a big thing to do. Well, can never go wrong. Imperial Guard are pretty straightforward, at least. I feel you about painting minis. It's sometimes better to step back and think how it's gonna turn out before you overpaint and go back to strip them again. I have never stripped one of my minis. Even my horrifying example of my first mini that I painted with way too many colors and then I was manually painting on highlights and lowlights and just, like, I won't even strip that down because I can't bring myself to do it. It's like, the work is already done. I just get another mini. Let's see, I watch Ash Mac Attack over at Gorilla Miniatures Gaming. He does on the paint table every Saturday. So inspirational, being able to print up to 50 minis. That man is a machine. I'm pretty sure, like, we're gonna find out at some point he's like one of the first models of the Terminator or something. Like, he has ridiculous energy to just churn things out, and I have observed him many times before, and it is not a personality trait I share. Fastest I paint a mini is either one I need for an upcoming kill team or one I paint for Miranda's birthday. Yeah. Warcasters tend to get assassinated. At least they do when I'm playing with them. Me too, man. Yay! I'm excited to see how Tiamat comes along, Christian. See, I really hope Requiem goes well. As a translation of IK RPG to 5e, I enjoyed what I read. I just want zoo, you know, right? No, I mean, the zoo continent and everything is just so unknown. there's so much of Kane to explore. I mean, we've literally only been in Western Imran. We don't even know Eastern Imran. I mean, and then there's the whole rest of the planet. So yes, I agree. There's so much more of that world to explore. Debating if I want to do black, traditional, or either powder or navy blue modern costumes for this Kobold mariachi band I'm painting. Alright, well, I tend to avoid just full black as a color unless it's just like a very tiny detail, because on a miniature it just ends up being a hole, right? So even for her dress, this is an off black, because then there's still something to see there and a texture and everything that comes out. So for like a mariachi band, you want to see like the texture of their leather jackets or velvet jackets, I think is a lot of times what they wear. So I would probably recommend going that way unless you have some way of adding like a sheen to it. But I don't know, it's your mini. I'm literally just talking away. I vote black shell time. And Todd actually paints like really well, so you might listen to him too. The painting boom, yes, the other thing. I think my next 40k purchase will be some Tyranid Raveners for Kill Team. Should be able to play in a couple of months. Soon, Paul. What do you think they will do with the lost continent of Zoo? I mean, they can kind of go anywhere with it, right? So I am hoping a location you could just go to, because I think there's already some trade with Zoo as it is. So, I mean, I'm not sure what you mean, like how they'll tell the story like culturally. If it'll like, do you think it'll be like going to Africa or like equivalent or something like that? They typically have done that with a lot of their factions, so I could see them doing that, but I don't know. Never strip a mini. You paint over. It's fine. Mike G, thank you. Right there. Listen to that, man. Let's see. I've only ever stripped metal minis. Getting paint off plastic can be a nightmare. Ooh, and you gotta be really careful with it. I have stripped other people's minis before, like when I buy used models from the game store, and it was not okay. And I have done that, but even then, they literally just live in acetone for probably months before I get back around to it. Purple powder and simple green both do work. That Durant guy from the Protectorate went to Zoo with a few peeps in Requiem. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. No more battle reports? They're coming. I have one that I actually am planning to finish up. It's just hard to find time, man. Luke, use the force. Let go, Luke. Let your instincts guide you. That's how you should paint. Maybe? I paint okay. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Whatever. Gobber Warcaster alive in Zoo. If I recall, at least in the non-released the currently released, I should say, version of the Iron Kingdoms, Gobbers can't wield Warcaster levels of magic, or warlocks, which I guess they'd be more like warlocks, but I don't know. War Gobber faction. Oh, there you go. Just make a whole other faction. Make a whole other category for them. That could be kind of fun. Emery's already have contacted the Zoo. Cater even has some colonies there. I know. Privateer gives us nothing. They will. I assume they will. I don't know. I mean, they have every opportunity right now, so I'm just going to be hopeful. There's no point in being anything else anyway, so let's see what happens. I'm so in for Gobber supremacy. Why? There's such a diminutive like race of people. They don't want to oppress anybody. Sorry, man. You seem to be having trouble there, Red Green. All right, we're just gonna get some middle looking stuff on here. That's. No, Zoo seems interesting. I mean, exploring deeper into the colonies, maybe past the marches past where the Scorn Empire is, or even seeing how far the Scorn Empire stretches, because I don't know that that's totally clarified either. Maybe learning a little bit more about the history, that big rift that got created when the Iosian gods tried to cross the bridge and then scarred the face of the planet. I mean, there are very cool stories that must be told. I would love to see some time hop modules, because I know some people have done sort of homebrews of, you know, stuff that happened in the Orgoth time or various points in after Rebellion history. But it'd be cool to see some modules that really expanded on that world a bit. Either pre-Orgoth or during the Orgoth occupation, which lasted, was it like 800 years or something? It lasted for freaking ever. Before, you know, people wised up and got magic, regardless of who helped them. And so that would be kind of neat. I'd love to see stuff like that. I mean, magic works in mysterious ways. If Everblight can give you Ogren magic, I guess Gobber can cast a few spells and control some jacks. Maybe? If any horde-like creature could control a warjack, I could see it being Gobbers. I'm just saying, unless you really slapped on the paint thick. Dude, the ones that I've had, like, picked up from the game store before, like, when I've had to resort to paint stripping, it is usually very thick. And I don't know if it was because that, like, it was painted multiple times, or someone just went hog wild on how they were going to paint their mini, because it was crazy. And, trying to remember where I was even going with that. But yes, a lot of times you can paint over the mini, especially if it has really good details carved into it. Some minis are not amazing in that and don't have the level of detail that recovers, let's say, from being painted over. I had to strip Kaya too when I picked her up secondhand. Someone painted her metallic pink, purple, and this garish yellow for hair. It was heinous. I wonder if it was somebody like giving that kid a model or something. We get a bit about Scorn in the Scorn-themed Unleashed book. That part of Imran is still really unexplored. See, there's just so many places to go. Hi there, good morning from Thailand. Well, hello. There are giants there. How is that not in the books? Oh yeah, that's right. Almost forgot. I forgot about them, but yeah, that's right. There are giants. Gremlins, I think. So what was it? Menoth walked the earth. Giants walked the earth. Is that where people spawned from? Like, they're Menoth's people, but I couldn't remember if he created the giants first. A little fuzzy anymore. It's been a while since I read all that. What if Gobbers got both war beasts and warjacks, but they were all lights? War beasts and warjacks. I feel like they'd have to choose. Like, they could use both, but they'd have to choose an entire battle group of warjacks or an entire battle group of war beasts, and you could stick with the lights. I could see that. But I feel like they'd have to focus kind of in one theme or another per game, just because, like, controlling a war beast is a different experience than controlling a warjack, plus your focus mechanic obviously would just be a nightmare. Hey Patrick, how you doing, man? Gobber war beasts are just big gobbers. I mean, that's how the trollkins work. We're just chatting about Grymkin, I guess, and Privateer, well, and War Machine, and models we like, and stripping minis, apparently. Let's see. Oh wait, that's Thornfall's thing. There you go. I think giants are their own thing, are they? Okay. Yeah, they're really just a footnote in the history. Just realized these kobolds are wearing chaps. I thought they were Donald Ducking it. Oh my god. Jean Jordan, hi. I found that ultrasonic cleaner was worth the price after I started buying more models from eBay to strip and paint from. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's a good idea too, to help. I mean, it accelerates the process, right? And you're not having to toothbrush things off. I strip minis so I can come back in with airbrush and zenithal highlight and use glazes to do the primary background color. Oh my goodness. Wow. If you must strip when I'm on team 90% rubbing alcohol. Yeah, well, I get the, for metals, the 100% acetone is extremely effective. I don't think I've stripped plastics or resins, but I did end up buying whatever that purple stuff is, super clean or something like that, thinking I would somehow get around to doing, like, stripping some minis, but it didn't really end up needing to happen, so. But if they're gonna go to zoo, that they should resolve that whole gore shade and the Divine Court mess. Yeah, maybe? I have no confidence in what all is supposed to happen there. I'm going to paint that thing gray. Coney is going to be painted gray. Yeah, I think Adam said one of his live stream uses ultrasonic at times. Hey, Mr. Palick. Really sad Requiem didn't say anything about that. Dude, I need to catch up on what you're talking about. You're ahead of me. Man, I'm so knowledgeable when I was running my IKRPG campaign, and now, like, it's all... I'm out of date on my information. That said, yes, I am hoping... Well, first off, I don't know if with Requiem they were kind of just using a lot of what they already had and adding some stuff to it. Because I guarantee you, like, the people working on Requiem did not have a team the size of the people working on, like, the general Wormhorde stuff, you know? So, Requiem's gonna have to really, like, prove its worth, I think, in a lot of ways, before it's gonna get some more focus, including satisfying a lot of lore questions. Totally my guess, but I could see that being a thing. Beams TV, hi. Let's see, purple power comes in a white jug. It's in the auto stores for engine degreasing. Goodness. Rubbing alcohol is safe on everything and works a lot faster. Really? Okay. Did not know about that. Oh look, somebody's trying to get banned. How cute. Let's see here. How do I do all this? Ugh. Alright, hide. You can all go away. Why is this bothering me? I've been doing some world building on my own games. Right? Freaking super weirdos. I always wonder what even starts that. Like, what is even the goal of that? What do you accomplish? It's not like you're going to convince somebody to click on your link or any of that. Okay, I think that's all good. Now let's go back and see what was missed. Oh, for minis, no idea. I'll take my $20 jug of purple power that I could reuse. Excellent. See, the more I think about it, the more I like the idea of mixing war beasts and jacks into a single battle group. Would remove the beasts. You would remove... Oh, you'd reeve from the beasts and allocate to the jacks. But imagine, like, if you actually have these magical abilities, like trying to focus and do that, the way they describe being a warcaster or a warcaster or a warlock is it's, you know, it does take your focus and your energy and your time. So bouncing between two completely different interfaces seems like it would be confusing, especially since fury and focus are technically not the same thing. Let's see. Those figures look good. I missed the beginning. What are we painting tonight? I am painting more of the Twilight Sisters from Grymkin and sort of just showing off or trying out my new camera. I think I'm going to put this dark red on this chick. I think that's what I'm going to go with. She's got purple there. Oh, wait a minute. I guess I do have purple here. I think I might just have to paint this all purple. Huh, I'm at that. More purple, Paul. I've been doing some world building myself for my games. Every last good original idea left to be used in the last decade got nabbed by dumb sea cats, so it's been particularly difficult. Well, it's not a matter of just like having an idea. I mean, the combination of that is what gives you variety. Basically, Syra and Nisor, elf god buddies, were rescued, and he had the mantle of Glacier, which would restore the Pantheon. Oh yeah, that's right, Gorsha getting uncryxed. I do remember reading that little bit. Good night, Kahneman. Oh, and yes, thank you very much, Paul, for getting rid of those spammers. Let's see. Also, the harnesser and focuser. Gobber is just the most powerful caster in Kane. Well, I guess that's settled. If the lore is lame, it will be alright. Just write your own and don't worry about it. It's more important that we have fun both as players and DM this is for Requiem. Maybe? What camera did you get? So, it's a... what is that? A Vitade, V-I-T-A-D-E camera. It has like a ring light built in, so I'll show you a little cool feature of it. So I feel like it's getting a better image than my other camera when it, you know, decides to focus. There we go. But the cool thing is I can also turn on this little ring light to kind of blast it with light in the event I'm not able to get a good image. Or, you know, I'm trying to like highlight a little area. So that's the theory. It's not being as, you know, cooperative as I'd hoped, but whatever. Let's see, you all are going to mess around and inspire me to work on 3 years of model backlog. I mean, models don't expire. That is one of the cool features, right? Oh, right. Alright, let's, yeah, this is a good brush for it. So we're going to get her little dress thing in. You know, Twilight Sisters, they're dressing kind of similar. They're the same age. They can have similar fashion sense. Fun with the Grymkin too, because you can get more colorful with them, especially with the whole purple theme. Whereas Khador, it's, you know, traditional military and, you know, gray, a lot of gray, with some red, fur, those sorts of things. We're just gonna paint all of that purple. That's what's gonna happen here. Ah, that's nice. Bye, Red Green, take care. What are you doing with your old camera? Might be needing one soon to film the stream for my indie games. I mean, yeah, if you want. I have several backup webcams at this point. both 1080 and 720. I mean, I'm gonna be getting another camera this year anyway, like a proper filming camera. So I don't know if my old video camera might be available. We'll see. Well, I'm hoping all of the brightness of this purple comes down a bit as I black wash everything. Going to miss Valhalla vids. Born and raised in Utah, now Wisconsin. For the last 4 years. I'll get some videos up for it. That actually is one of my things I'm resolving to do. Make sure that I share a little bit more of the fun at Valhalla, if I can, via videos. Only thing is, it's really hard to upload over there because the internet is marginal and then taxed when you've got like 50 people. All right. I don't know if we have any progress checks happening all, but if you've been working on a mini, you want to give a little quick update on how far along it's come? I mean, I guess there are some gobbers, mariachi bands getting painted, which sound awesome, by the way. There we go. She got some purple on her. That detail's showing up pretty dang nice. I like it. Get a little bit more poked into there. I'm also gonna have to touch up her skin. Wonder if I'll have time to draw a face on her. Maybe I can do that a little bit too. There's a dead hand. Lovely. I'll be painting tomorrow. Oh, good, Thomas. We left Utah just before Sean got going on YouTube with Blue Table. I mean, that would have been like a decade ago, wouldn't it? Goodness. Is this the year? Oh my gosh, Patrick, I'm so excited. This will be great. This will be a great year. I'm drinking, listening to music, and just having a good time right now. How's life for you? Well, this is definitely a highlight of my week, so pretty good. Jean, I bought a new digital camera last year and recently added a couple of new lenses to increase my toolbox. Nice. Halfway through cutting minis off sprues from Warlord's Black Powder Civil War starter. Well, that's always something to take very carefully. You never want to sprue cut the wrong part of the sprue and cut off a mini or something. Austin, I got Aurora 1 painted and just need a baser. I primed 3 steel sole protectors. Hooray for project progress. Awesome. Awesome, Austin. Why is that so hard to say? Nice. Convergence is a very strong faction. I have issues with them morally speaking, but they are a cool faction. I have been admiring a tiefling sorceress that is done curing. She looks like a lot of fun to paint up. Ooh. Patrick, I got my minis out. No painting has actually occurred. I've been stuck in this loop of waiting to paint my Mormahordes versus wanting to finish the games, then do nothing. Let Kitty tell you. Like, just ask her, should I paint or play? And then, you know, she'll guide you. Working on the skin and instruments. Still watching Radio from Hell in the mornings on YouTube. 14 years ago since we moved to New York. Oh, in New York. Oh, goodness. Miranda, any reason a GoPro would not work? I'm sure GoPro would probably work really well. I've just never used one, and I don't have one, so. How's life going on your side of the world? Wet palette mishap. Oh no! Things are fine. Just, you know, I feel like I'm overburdened with tasks, but we will survive. Purple's looking pretty good. I mean, who in Emerald doesn't have moral issues, am I right? Well, I mean, like, mentally, like, on their own side. I've heard all the arguments for it, like, why Crix is the most, like, environmentally friendly faction. You know, a lot of people who seem to be obsessed with the idea of Signar being the worst, but that's confusing in a world with Crix. Or a lot of the other factions. Like the Scorn. So, I don't know. Yes, to each his own. But Convergence is serious, man. Alright, I kind of just am painting over the same here, but this is a very, very thin paint, so I'm not going to feel bad about it. Alright, so all this here probably needs, I'm thinking of going with kind of a bit of a popping, not quite a white, but like an off-white, and maybe dry brush it up a bit, so that like the trim is almost like a creamy trim. I think this here is supposed to be purple. There we go. Alright, and then that underdress she's wearing is just black, which is fine. Oh yeah, there we go. That color right there is what I'll probably use for the trim. The dreamer, she just wants to sleep. Yes, it's fair. I mean, you could argue the king nothing, just wants to be left alone. Just Chromac, my perfect boy. I did get some Riot Quest minis done last month. I was quite proud of Celia. Nice. I just realized the base coat on this mini is way too thick. Oh no. Can't wait for Season 2, Part 2 of Riot Quest. Imagine playing Scorn and saying Signar's the worst. Like, yeah. It's like, psh, at least we have an afterlife. Psst. That's burning. This obviously isn't something I do. My son Bjorn put together a tactical marine. Who would you prefer, Convergence or Cephalix? Well, they both involve taking agency away from you, so they're not that dissimilar. I mean, I guess there's maybe a slight bit more of your own will in Convergence, because Cephalix, I mean, you're lobotomized and just a slave outright. Like, Convergence pretends you're not, but then puts you in a programmable body. So, I'm going to sound so lame. I have no idea how to send a PM on YouTube. Oh my gosh, I would suggest you send me an email then, just to wargamergirl@gmail.com, because I don't know where to, like, every time I go onto YouTube, they have changed around where to do stuff. Paul knows where to go, but I don't know that I'll find your message, because YouTube literally changes stuff around all the time. Don't talk to me until you have an afterlife. Although the Scorn do seem to be derivative of the Iosians, right? So, I mean, it's possible when that big cataclysmic rift happened that scarred the world, like, whatever part of the Iosian pantheon that would have, represented the Scorn are gone. So if anything gets restored, maybe that would also extend toward giving something else to the Scorn. I mean, just food for thought. Convergence did save mankind, but also doomed more of the universe to man's greed. Oh, don't go on about man's greed. Ugh. As if we're like the worst thing in the universe. Please. It's always seemed to me like the most hubris statement. Even when I was a kid, I wrote this whole article about how ridiculous it was that people thought they could actually destroy the whole planet. Is that the one? Is this Smoldiocre? Which, by the way, we can't. Yeah, that's the one. Convergence made Neo Mechanica, so I guess that's worth something. Suppose. I do have those games, and I do want to play those games. I really have not gotten a proper experience in those games. I have a question. How many people here play model agnostic games like Frostgrave or Rogue Stars Enrich? Yeah, we were talking about that a little earlier, actually, on the model agnostic games. They have their value, for sure. So this is the Menoth white base, which is really just straight off white. It's a very antiqued white. Oh my gosh. Oh, thanks, Automator. When you're in New York, check out Los Tacos in Tribeca for the world's best tacos. Worked on Wall Street for 2 years as a derivatives analyst. Working next to the World Trade Center. Los Tacos are the best tacos. Los Tacos. Alright, I'll have to keep that in mind if I'm in New York. Now, mind you, I mean, I'm out here in New Mexico, and we've got amazing tacos and Mexican food in general. So, the standard is pretty high. But I do have family in New York. I'm originally technically from there. But I have not been there since 2012, I think? About then. Yeah, I think that's looking alright. Now it'll come down a bit with the black wash. So it'll tie together more and not be just this bright color against this purple. But I like. Scorn might come from the very first old disaster that hit the elves. Could be. Scorn do have an afterlife, it's just not good. They're forced to wander the void. I thought they actually were just in straight oblivion. I didn't think there was any wandering. Because, I mean, in Urkane itself, I guess you can be devoured if you don't find a place to hide in, essentially. Which is why you have the City of Man or, the Morrowind areas that you go under Morrow's protection or under Thamar's protection or all of whatever that might be. Here we go. Finally some P3 paint love. Yeah, they had to send them to me. But they are pretty good paints, so I can't complain. Yeah, Mechanica looks pretty neat. Hate how low number stats and hit dice, though. Yeah, it can be very swingy that way. Follow-up is how important is an available human race, if it's important. What makes you choose them over a fantasy race? Follow-up. How important is an available human race? And if that's important, what makes you choose them over a fantasy race? I think most people probably just choose human when they're first trying out a different world at all. Because, like, elves and dwarves and all that are takes on humans anyway. But they're more, like, funneled into aspects, whereas human is just true generic. And so if you're learning about the world, it's usually the best initial interface. And then once you have a sense of what your own style is, like if there is another race that's really prone to being more magical, or even just one that you think is prettier, like people will go with that. If you have a chance, I would suggest Cafe Rio in Utah. Have I been to Cafe Rio? I'm trying to decide. There was some like taco place I went to in Heber after Valhalla one year, and they were pretty good. Very hole-in-the-wall kind of place, though. Have you ever tried oil paints? I'm experimenting now. I love it. No, not really. Like, I knew oil painters as a kid and stuff like that, and I know oil paints, like, I guess I've messed around a little bit with them for weathering stuff, but, like, the dry time on them is challenging. It can be a benefit if that's your goal, like, and you want to be able to keep moving stuff around, but I don't know that it fits my style of painting. The void is just suffering in a lot of it. Human races are always the lowest on my pick list. Like, if you can be wild and different humanoids, why go back to what you know? By the way, Miranda, if you have afternoon tea with Ashley sometime this year, she's planning to move to Phoenix. Are you serious? Oh, wow. Which is weird how Scorn wouldn't like that. No kidding. Maybe there's just no control in that, though. Because mortithurgy is probably a little bit different than just generic suffering in the void. I didn't know that, Paul. I definitely have to reach out to her. I certainly want to see her before she leaves. Alright, Adeptus, I'll make sure to look at it here shortly on Facebook. If there's an undead faction, that's my jam. Well, and, okay, yeah. If they have amazing miniatures, and I know this isn't quite the RPG setting, but, like, whenever I was looking at Warhammer Underworlds, like, the Grand Alliance of Death had just totally captured my attention. Most of my IK characters were human, just because I think they fit better than others. Yeah, and most of the Iron Kingdoms is human. Like, there's the Rulix and there's the Iosians, but Iosians are pretty well limited. I mean, they're in a race decline, and last I'd heard anyway, like they're not producing or reproducing very much. Nis are nearly extinct. What else have we got? Scorn are evil. Rulix are pretty copacetic, pretty chill. But you don't have a lot of races in the world of the Iron Kingdoms. Heber as a whole is a hole-in-the-wall kind of place. Aw, yes, it kind of is. But it's where that massive cabin is, so it's the place I'm most familiar. Have you tried a maritime donair from Nova Scotia? I have not. By the way, I accidentally stumbled onto something related to me. Somehow someone else liked my coined name and made it into a podcast. That's weird. Also, they do have more options than others, namely in Full Metal Fantasy, yeah. Have you ever lived in New York? Yeah, I was born in Austining. And I think my parents moved when I was about 1, and then my dad had rent houses out there, so I grew up going back and forth between Austining and New Mexico. Goodness. So, yeah, go down to the city. Although I was never in the Twin Towers, so it's like just an experience I never had. I was in Statue of Liberty, but which is pretty cool. Time flies when you're having fun and don't have any more trolls. Anyone do any work on SMP 2? Ooh, I don't know. Definitely not me. Although, were you guys ever, did you guys actually have any issues with the whole GameStop short sale drama that happened? The only factions I will play are Ouroboros and Khador, and that's it. Full stop. Alright then. I was considering an undead-like faction for my mutants game, but the other game doesn't have any necromancy yet. It deals a lot with creating elementals. So you might do like a... I mean, I guess if you wanted to have an equivalent, then you would do just, you know, a necrotic element or, you know, something that's not death, but death. On the Portuguese translation of the IKRPG core rules, there's a type on the Stormblade's career prerequisites that says Ogren and Trollkin could take it. I find that hilarious. That's awesome. I definitely fall into the rut of playing humans frequently, but my most favorite experience is playing a gnome. I haven't been fortunate enough to have someone else run an IKRPG for me by trying to try trolls. Trolls definitely seem really cool, but Trollkin are very human-like too. See, I had to get my birth certificate from Austin a few years ago for a passport. I was offered a gun through the mail. Huh. Fair enough. Oh, man. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna touch up her face here and might just be just about ready to call it here, guys. We're getting close to 9. Got a few things to do before bed. Lucky me, I have a doctor's appointment in the morning, so. And that is way too big a brush. Thanks, Automator. Austin is a beautiful place. I loved the library there. I'd sure as heck play Trollkin only short campaign. Oh, a Trollkin only short campaign? Oh, yeah. No, Trollkins are awesome. Whenever you guys finally get to see my IKRPG show, which will come out, so help me God. There's a pygmy troll and a Trollkin in it. Yeah, and a Trollkin in it. Pygmy troll, human. Maybe all humans. But the pygmy trolls are freaking hilarious. I love everything about them. There we go. Globbed on a little thick. This Vallejo paint definitely goes on a touch on the thin side, but does give me a good base color to start from. My group did one for Pharaoh once and it was wild. Well, yeah, the Unleashed campaigns are all that, right? About time for me to head home from work and get some hobby time there. Well, Gina, I appreciate you joining us tonight, just hanging out. Again, this was a pretty chill stream tonight. Picked up some Trollkin minus for IKRPG. Yay. It would be easy to one-shot defending and attacking a Legion stronghold or a band of fell callers looking for their dad. Oh my gosh. Speaking about Austin, I may go down there for some engineering work soon. Oh, there you go. Oh. Alright guys, well, I think I'm gonna call it here too and get on with my night. But I really appreciate you guys hanging out. This has been fun. This is always a nice centering time for me, and I've got some stuff in the works that hopefully I can be really excited to show you soon. So hang in there. Stuff's happening. And yeah, so in case you didn't know, Patrick is working on developing his whole full-on game, so I'm sure I'll be able to share more on that once he's closer, so we'll see you guys all later. Next stream will be in 2 weeks. So today is the 7th of April. 2 weeks from today will be the 21st of April. So that should be the next time I'm streaming. Oh, Nerdy Ogre, thanks. Sent the email. Oh, sweet. All right, Mac Tech, thank you. All right, well, you guys have a great night, and we'll see you later.